like this, the impact reaches further than simple aesthetics. In Vedic philosophy, wealth is viewed as a living energy, one that requires a specific set of conditions to remain present. Most of us operate under a different set of rules. We assume that if we simply push our bodies harder and stay in the hustle longer, the exhaustion will eventually pay off in the form of abundance. But the history of labor tells a different story. In this photograph of manual laborers working among hundreds of clay pots, we see the peak of physical toil. Yet throughout history, this level of grueling manual effort has almost always existed on a track entirely separate from the accumulation of actual wealth. If the equation was as simple as hard work equals wealth, the most physically exhausted people on the planet would be the most prosperous. Since they aren't, we have to realize the formula we've been using is fundamentally broken. To find the missing link, we have to look at the role of Saturn. In astrology, Saturn governs sustenance, the baseline amount of resources you need just to survive until tomorrow. True wealth, however, is a different energetic force entirely. It isn't the income stream you receive from an employer to cover your rent. It's something that exists outside the cycle of survival. This sprawling office park represents the modern engine of Saturn. People put massive effort into these mechanized environments, but the output usually just balances against the rising cost of living. It is a system designed for sustenance, not abundance. When you rely solely on the energy of physical labor, you are essentially working to keep the body fed. While that ensures survival, it can inadvertently block the flow of true circulating wealth. Entering the world of abundance requires a different mechanism: attraction. This is the domain of Shukra, or Venus, the force that determines how money is magnetically pulled towards you. Venus operates on a principle of self-worth. It suggests that the world only offers high compensation to those who first present themselves as being of high value. Think of it as a magnetic invitation. When perceived value is low, opportunity remains dormant. But act with the confidence of someone already successful, and you activate a literal pull. This shift creates a vacuum that opportunities rush to fill. Wealth isn't a target you chase down through sheer force. It is something you invite by deliberately cultivating your own sense of value until the world has no choice but to respond. Once that wealth is invited, you face the second mechanism: retention. This is governed by the goddess Lakshmi, and she dictates whether that wealth stays or immediately flows back out. Ancient traditions, recorded in texts like these, suggest that the energy of retention is deeply sensitive to its environment. It gravitates towards beauty, harmony, and a specific sense of order. The most effective way to repel this energy is to treat money with fear. When we hoard capital out of panic or claim that seeking wealth is unspiritual, we create an environment that the energy of abundance finds inhospitable. You can use your Venus energy to invite all the money in the world, but if your home is in chaos or your mindset is rooted in scarcity, that wealth will leave the moment it arrives. To visualize how these forces work together, we can use a metaphor found in many ancient traditions: the movement of prana, or life breath. However, if you try to hold that breath indefinitely out of fear that you won't get another, you eventually suffocate. In this framework, hoarded or stagnant money that never moves loses its vital energy. The cycle only completes when you exhale, deliberately circulating money back into the world through investments, charity, or even a well-earned luxury. This exhale is what creates the biological and spiritual demand for the next inhale. In this system, financial abundance is the result of capital breathing in and out of a life that is both orderly and unafraid. Moving from theory to practice requires 5 specific shifts in your environment and behavior. First, clean your home with an aggressive focus on order. Removing physical clutter is the first step in creating a space where retention feels welcome. Second, dress for the version of yourself you intend to become. By presenting yourself as highly valued today, you begin to activate the law of attraction immediately. Third and fourth, adopt a Friday ritual. Split your income. One portion goes into an untouchable vault for security, while the other is deliberately circulated. This closed loop demonstrates that more is coming, accelerating your income. Fifth, foster harmony at home. Simple acts like enforcing a regular time for family dining create a sense of emotional order that supports your overall prosperity. These actions represent the physical construction of a permanent habitat designed to host and sustain wealth. Ultimately, wealth is not just a number in a bank account. It is a guest that is constantly evaluating the quality of its host. You can choose to be the frantic chaser in the crowd, or the central figure who stands still and radiates a calm, magnetic authority. If you are ready to become the kind of host that abundance respects, comment next to begin your alignment.